Okay. Who's ready for this?
Me!
Let's go. Okay. Well, I'm going to start. I'll introduce myself, and then we'll let the panelists introduce themselves. My name is Diana Chimes. I work on the marketing team at Polygon Labs, and yeah, really excited to be here for Ag Summit.
My name is Ellie Davidson, and I am the head of R&D at Espresso.
I'm Nick Van Eck. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Agora. We have an institutional-grade U.S. dollar stable.
I'm Mark Boron, and I'm the CEO at Polygon Labs. And I just have to say that, like, it's kind of upsetting that Steven, like, wins by default just because of the hat. But I'm very impressed by it.
Hey everyone, I'm co-founder and CEO of Offchain Labs, and as the hat suggests, we are one of the core contributors to Arbitrum.
Awesome. So I'm first going to have each of the panelists there's 5 wings or crackers, and you kind of have to get a taste for what's the baseline. So if you guys can each take a bite or a taste of just the basic wing without any sauce, just so you have a baseline.
We're cleansing the palate here.
Cleansing the palate. Okay. And then you also all have a glass of milk and some water and some gloves and tissues if you need it. So feel free to use that as needed. But we are going to start off with the first hot sauce. So I'm going to come around and give you guys the first sauce. And this is called jalapeno tequila and lime hot sauce. Okay?
Yum.
By Queen Majesty. So I'm going to hand it over, and you got to drop some hot sauce on your first wing or cracker. Oh. Ooh.
Is she going for the... Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I don't know if we get a close-up
Ellie
of that,
likes it hot. Okay, all right. That's a nice little douse. Nope. Pour it on there, Mark.
Wow.
Don't be shy.
It's fully drenched.
Yeah, Steven's checking it out. Okay. He might buy this when he gets home. There we go. That's how you do it.
Okay.
Matches the size of the hat.
Panelists, if you could take your first bite. Let's see. Initial take.
Thing's freaking sweet.
That's pretty good.
Spicy?
It's a little spicy.
A little spicy?
That's not sweet.
Okay, so the first question is, what's a Web3 technology or concept that you think is overhyped and why?
See, spicy.
Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll give a pretty spicy answer.
Okay.
I'm going to say optimistic rollups because I think in the future, like, proving will become so fast, and it'll just be such a better experience, and ZK rollups have such a better, you can finalize a lot faster, et cetera. So maybe not too overhyped, but just a little bit overhyped. Optimistic rollups.
Okay, that's fair. That's
You're baiting me here. All right, I'll take the other end of that, sure. I'll say ZK rollups because in your preface, you have to say in the future, but we can talk about what works today.
Boom.
What can I say? What about a permissionless node system so anybody can produce fraud proofs?
That's great. We have it. It's called Bolt.
Is it live?
Not yet, but it exists and it runs and you can turn it live. And the DAO can choose to open up permissionless at any point, right? The DAO can't choose to make a ZK rollup system that's less performant, but it could choose to just remove a waitlist, right? That's not a technical barrier. That's a governance barrier.
All right.
Well, the hot sauces aren't that hot, but it is heating up on this stage.
Okay, I got one that I'm excited for. Non-yield-bearing stablecoins suck, and they deserve to die by the slow death of yield-bearing stablecoins.
I will take also the other side of that is that in some cases there are needs for non-yield-bearing stablecoins when regulation permits. But other than that, I do think the rent seekers have had their day, and they're going to start losing market share very quickly.
I think all stable coins are yield bearing. Just question who gets that yield.
Oh, that's a good one.
There we go. Okay. Anything else to add, Nick?
Not the rent seekers. Ideally, like my view is that it should be the businesses, right? It's the people that are actually driving utility, liquidity, building wonderful application experiences. Those are the people that should be capturing it.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we are going to go on to the second hot sauce because that one was way too easy for you guys. So next we have Melinda's Original Habanero Garlic Pepper Sauce. And no one's had to take a drink of the water or the milk yet, so hopefully these start.
Who sourced the hot sauces?
Hudson. Where's Hudson?
Yeah, Hudson's hot sauce.
He's the hot sauce guy. Is he going?
That's how you know it's
Take
spicy.
a hint when it doesn't come out quickly.
We're learning as we go. Nice, Nick. Good douse. Notice
It
the
looks like I'm
technique.
putting a lot on, but I'm putting it next to it half the time.
Keep going. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, Steven's in an unfair position because it just captures all the hot sauce.
Yeah.
Ours, it just runs off.
Drink
Yeah.
down at the end. Yeah, this is hard to get out.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm trying so hard, but there you go.
Okay, now if everyone take a bite of your wing. See how spicy these are.
Interesting.
Interesting is the right way to describe
Interesting.
I kind of feel like that was less hot than the first one.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
Right?
I think so
that.
too.
I think we reverse them.
It's getting,
They're going to trick us. The
getting
next
less
one's going to be
hot.
the worst
Yeah.
one.
we're doing the opposite. Okay. Well, hopefully these next ones are hotter because you guys are all flying through these. Okay, next question. If you could make one rule for Web3 that everyone had to follow, what would it be?
I would say that you should stop naming things that end in coin.
Definitely can't debate that.
I would say hyping up chains that don't exist yet. Like they have not hit mainnet. Like I feel like the main narratives have been chains that like do not exist for, technical reasons. But we'll see.
Like, dude, there's a bear.
Uh-oh, everyone's looking. Yeah, that's a good one. I would say broader than chains, just like things that don't exist. I feel like we
It
have
just happens to mostly be chains.
yeah, I mean, definitely we have a tendency to hype up technology that doesn't yet exist. I should probably supposed to say something original. I got to think about that one. Sorry?
Mark, you got anything?
Vaporware, yes.
Thing was, what's the thing we need to stop hyping up? Is that what it was again? I'm forgetting now.
Oh, no, the question is if you could make one rule for Web3 that everyone had to follow.
One rule for Web3.
Yeah, just the industry.
I'll do another one. You can't use Twitter anymore, and everybody should move over to Farcaster.
Oh. What do we think about that, audience? Boo.
Okay, this is not spicy, but I would say that everyone would be forced to return to the days of 2021 where you cared about decentralization so much that you even tried to decentralize front ends instead of saying, let's centralize every single thing as much as we can.
I do also miss the days when Reddit was actually a good source for information. In like 2016, now it's just like a cesspool.
Steven, any rule that you
I
would
don't know, I'm
enact?
blanking on this one. Yeah, give me a sec. Mark,
Okay.
say something intelligent. Make
Okay, I'm gonna.
Based sequencers.
Oh, very intelligent as a words, but not as a concept.
I've almost thrown that one out there a few times as the thing that, like, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Not so exciting.
we should stop talking. We should never mention base sequencing again. That'd be my rule.
Okay, what do we think about that, audience?
That's a hot take. I disagree.
Oh,
I
Why
mean, we
do
can
you
mention
just-
it, but like I think it doesn't work. So.
Ellie, do you want to respond?
I think that base sequencing is very flexible, actually, and it's way more flexible than people think.
We can love shared sequencers, but not based sequencing.
I'd say the same thing. They can still, base sequencing can be super duper flexible.
Okay.
The problem, though, is if someone doesn't keep their pre-confirmation, and then we kind of get into big trouble.
What is that?
I mean, there's technical issues if pre-confirmation isn't kept or is reorged out, and then that's where like, it's a great concept in theory. I guess the hot take is, A, I don't think it works. But B is, I think it's a way of L1 to recapture governance control of the innovation layer.
Dude, you just opened up Pandora's box on that one.
All right,
Should I
take it.
respond? So you said it's a way to recapture control. I don't actually agree with that
Influence,
much.
control, I don't know what the right word is, but yeah.
I don't agree. I mean, I think base rollups, they can essentially have the same incentives and everything as other rollups. They can have their own tokens. They don't have to give MEV to the L1. They can be completely separate.
I'm going to like walk through that door that you opened and say, it is 100% the way for an L1 to rug everyone who has built on it, who should assume that it is permissionless and will remain open to everyone in the same way that it was before when they built on it, and that they should not close the doors on everyone who built on them. Yeah.
Fair point, but it's, I think Ethereum is pretty stable at this point.
All right.
All right, here's an extension. I got rugged. I think I'm not supposed to be speaking, so. All right. It's the hat, yeah. I don't think this one works either. I'll just keep yours. I think L2 governance actually works a lot better than L1 governance. How's that for a hot take?
Wait, what? I don't even understand the take.
Well, L2 governance happens on chain. L1 governance happens in rooms. And
In Switzerland.
But it's social consensus, rough consensus. It's beautiful.
It's great. I just think L2 governance is better.
All right, I'm going to toss you guys another question, and then we're going to do another hot sauce. Which is more important to the industry's future, interoperability or decentralization, and explain why?
All right, that's a tough one, but I'm going to say interoperability because, yeah, we can get better decentralization than we have today, but Ethereum is pretty good and it's pretty decentralized, but we have terrible interoperability today. So that is where we should focus our attention.
I don't want to cop out, but it depends on what you're looking for, right? If you care about the freedom to transact, and then you obviously want to max out on decentralization, right, and censorship resistance. But if you want a really simple consumer experience for a gaming application, then maybe interoperability is better. But I would have to say, gun to my head, decentralization, because that's why I got interested in crypto in the first place.
Fair, fair.
I mean, I have to say the same for the exact reason that you just said. Decentralization is the thing that's always excited me about crypto. And so, the idea of not having decentralization in crypto is, scary to me. I mean, I can make the argument for interoperability. It makes sense that there's going to be some centralized stuff sometimes here and there, but, the decentralized stuff is just so much more exciting.
Yeah, I think decentralization for sure, and I think that's evident in the way that we build things. If we thought that that interoperability is more important, we would just not have any. We would just have interoperability, right? We could take AWS or any Web2 system and scale it and have perfect interoperability. The only reason interoperability is something we're even talking about here today is because we prioritize decentralization to an extreme that it's created a bit more fragmentation than it would have otherwise.
And there are some crypto companies that do just take, Google Cloud or AWS and then say, oh, no, I'm still a decentralized solution. And that's not the case.
Hot take.
And not to name names.
Accurate take.
All right, we're going to go on to the next hot sauce. This is Melinda's Original Habanero Extra Hot Pepper Sauce. So hopefully this is going to turn up the heat a little bit more. None of our panelists have taken any sip of water or milk, so questionable on how hot these are. But comes out slow, so that's when you know it's probably pretty hot.
Brave there. Leave some for us.
Wow, Mark, that's quite a bit.
It does scare me a little bit that that one's like just black.
Yeah, the black, that
I've
one
never
just
seen a
worries me.
black hot sauce
This
before.
one's Cocoa Ghost Hot Sauce, so. All right, you guys can go ahead and take a bite. Pretty hot? Anyone need to take a drink yet, or
Yeah, no, it's getting there. It's
Yeah?
getting there.
That's a lot hotter.
what does it taste like?
This
Hot,
is actually like
that's
this
what
is
it
like a
tastes like.
good hot though. Like there's like the terrible tasting hot that's like why do
like
you
the next
exist
one?
hot?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the next one. This one's actually good.
Let's put it this way. If someone else would have taken a drink, I'd be taking a drink right now.
That's fair.
I did put up a poll to see who would be the first to take a sip of the water.
Oh, okay. No one yet, right? Okay. Well, feel free. Okay, this question is going to be, you can all answer it, but I am going to call out Mark and Steven. So, Mark, you've been quoted in a tweet, L3s are worse than L2s. Don't fall for marketing gimmicks that are selling inferior technology, or even worse, making disguised attempts to overthrow Ethereum down the road. Steven, you argue that layer 3s bring cost-effective onboarding to Ethereum, and you've been quoted in a tweet, why L3s? 1, 99% reduction to cost of onboarding. And 2, take the bus to Ethereum. There are fixed costs to posting updates/data to Ethereum. In an L2 with many transactions like Arbitrum 1, these fixed costs gets amortized away pretty quickly. So I'd like to pose the question, L3s, yay or nay? You can all answer, but there you go.
I guess you know our answers, but I guess to expand on that a little bit, I think yes, but I also think Arbitrum supports layer 2s, and Arbitrum supports layer 3s, and Arbitrum supports builders that don't want to build their own chains, they just want to build on a public chain with a public network. So for me, it's more about, I don't think that I would say L3s are better than L2s, and I don't think that I would say L2s are better than L3s. I think it really depends on what you're trying to build, who your users are, what your ability to get like tier 1 exchange support for your chain and the like. So I think it's a very nuanced answer. But if your question is, do I think that L3s are a worthy tool of being in the toolbox, my answer is definitely yes.
Okay, Mark.
So much better being mean online than in person.
You're such a nice guy.
I mean, in fairness, most of those tweets are like a Sunday when like my kids are jumping on me and I need a break and I'm probably like annoyed and I tweet that. So like,
Hey,
like,
it's on the internet,
it's
so.
fair.
Can we confirm that was Sunday? No, I'm just kidding.
But no, like my honest view on this is I think L3s are something that makes sense temporarily. And what I mean by that is like in this day and age right now, L3s actually do make sense. I think that one of the big reasons why we're spending so much time contributing to the ag layer is because we think that the ag layer can allow for like horizontal interoperability where you don't need to build anything that ends up having additional dependencies on top of it. And so every chain can be an L2 while having the benefits of what an L3 would provide, especially when you get like, proof aggregation, stuff like that lowers the cost. So I think L3s like, honestly like make sense in some instances right now. I think down the road, I don't think they will as much.
Okay. Ellie, Nick, do you guys have anything?
I don't really have a strong perspective. I think there do need to be, siloed chains, right? If you want to have just permissioned activities for specific functions, right? Like if you're operating within the banking system or payments and you want to have like a KYB gated area. I don't know what the difference is between an L2 or an L3 there. But yeah, there's definitely.
Basically, Nick's like, I don't care, take my stablecoin on any chain.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I agree with Steven. I think that it depends on your use case. And I think that for some use cases, they make a lot of sense.
Okay, fair. Okay, this next one is inspired by a tweet that I once had that's forever on the internet. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Kill one, fuck one, or marry one. DAOs, NFTs, and DEXs. And explain why.
Marry DEXs, because they're the best. Fuck DAOs, because they're okay. And then kill NFTs, because I just like don't really, I mean, NFTs are great for like, you know, these other things, but like just the pictures themselves, I personally don't really see why I want an ugly profile picture of myself that cost like $2,000.
Stevens was much more expensive than $2,000. It's one of those monkeys.
Apes. Ape chain. Let's not get into that. That's a good one.
That was a good
The
one.
last time we fought online. Good
Yeah, I
time.
guess I'll say marry DEXs because I think they create the most value out of all of them. Being able to
That
permissionless
was so
swap assets.
sentimental.
Yeah.
I know.
Kill. And this is a tough one. I'd have to say kill NFTs. They definitely have they're the least useful of all of them. And then, yeah, I guess you'd fuck DAOs.
Okay, there you go. Mark.
I guess the.
Kill NFTs. Fuck DAOs because there's lots of them.
I was just gonna say because there's sometimes good to have.
And marry DEXs.
I think I would agree with that last one, except for like I wouldn't kill NFTs. It's just like if you're putting a gun to my head, like, all right.
Gun is to your head, so you have to do it.
I mean, well, I guess you're killing me or the NFTs. So take the monkey and not me. But I mean, I think like obviously they're all, in my opinion, very very critical. But on the order of things that we could do without or things that we absolutely could not do without, I guess NFTs would take the third slot, even though I think that they're an important cultural piece.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to ask another question, and then we'll do the last hot sauce. This one's going to jump more to stables, so kind of geared towards you, Nick. But with increasing scrutiny on stablecoins' reserve backing and transparency, what do you see as the most critical steps needed to build and maintain user trust? Is regulatory oversight the answer, or does the technology itself need to evolve? Obviously, we want all of you guys to weigh in here.
Yeah, I guess I can start. It depends on how you define stable, right? So, like, is it a structured product like Ethena, or is it a fiat collateralized asset like what we built with AUSD? I think the most important thing from a trust perspective is using institutional grade financial partners, right? So we use State Street, which is one of the largest custodian banks in the world, and have a large established asset manager managing the reserves, right? And so those are two very large, old, regulated financial services institutions that are backing our stable. And so I think that's how you actually build trust. There's obviously many other different ways, right? Like obviously, communicating directly with businesses, users, participating in DAO governance, being doxed, right? There's a lot of other things, but I think you have to start institutional grade from the beginning, and that's working with the largest and most sturdy financial partners, right? That's why USDC had that DPEG, is they were using regional banks, and those are not the best financial partners to be using.
Mark, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to jump in. I think there's like a very important role to be played by like non-centralized stablecoins. Like I think that's something that we need to like recognize as well. Like there has to be money that is censorship resistant, that people kind of like recognize as money and stable. I fundamentally believe that in 10 to 15 years from now, we will have a cryptocurrency that is going to be stable without being a stable coin. And that's probably going to be Bitcoin, but we'll see what that looks like. Surprise take. But I think
What's the price going to be, though?
It
dude, Bitcoin's going to be $1 million of Bitcoin. We know
Okay,
this already.
okay.
Come on. But no, I think like the important thing is until then we need stablecoins that are decentralized but safe, right? And I think like Maker's done like a good job with this, like historically. I do think we need to like move away from like all of these other like more structured products. Like I think maybe hot take, like Athena, I think is like a disaster waiting to happen, like a massive disaster waiting to happen. Everything looks good until it's big enough. Everything does, right? And like let's just look at Terra Luna. Let's just look at Terra, right? Like it looked fine until it was big enough. I think Athena's different, right? Like you can get tons of liquidity on centralized exchanges until you're big enough that there isn't enough liquidity. And so I think we need to like really start being like very careful with those products. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think decentralized stablecoins are really important, but it's like sort of like any debate within crypto is like how decentralized actually are some of them. I think DAI is very decentralized, and then there's others that really just like wrap centralized assets. And if the issuer is like, okay, you just committed a crime, I'm gonna freeze this, like, were you decentralized? No, you were just, sort of masking it. I think they also can serve a purpose that centralized players can't. Whether it's through their structuring or not, but I do think that having them go beyond being niche products is a little bit dangerous, and embedding them in user experiences as if they're safe can pose real challenges. And we saw that with Terra. So I think a lot of people don't want to go anywhere near that road again, which is good.
As before, I guess I think everything has its place, and there are, similar to what the other said, uses for both. But the other thing I'll say is, I think the proliferation of different centralized stablecoins, which we're seeing a lot of, is itself a form of decentralization. The fact that you have not just one dominant centralized stablecoin, but many different ones with maybe different jurisdictions, different baskets, different operators, different regulatory environment is itself a form of decentralization, because if something happens to one of them, it's not like, okay, the whole ecosystem is dependent. I don't think we're there yet today. I think there are obviously very dominant ones, but that's a way to get to decentralization with more centralization, if you will.
I pretty much agree with everybody. I guess going back to the original question, is there any technical improvements that we need to make for stablecoins? I can't think of anything that is very specific just to stablecoins, but I do think that having better interoperability and having faster finality and all of those things will help, of course.
Yeah, there's two things I'd point out there that is more like a stablecoin nerd answer. Is one, like actually having direct integration with the banking system 24/7. So most banks don't move money 24/7. That's one of the big issues. So working with a bank that does have 24/7 payment capabilities is important. And then something interesting that we did, at least with EVM ecosystems, is because we're a newer stable to the market, we actually could use the latest standards. And so we're over 25% cheaper to transact with on EVM than USDC and USDT, because they have a lot of old code. So that's, I guess, on the technical side, you can improve. It's mostly EVM, but that's it.
Awesome, good answers. Okay, we are gonna go to our last
Scary looking.
hot sauce, the Cocoa Ghost hot sauce. So I'm gonna there you go.
All right, I'm gonna
the
put my
gloves are
glove
going on, which is smart. No one has even touched their water or their milk yet, but I'm hoping this is the one that.
Looks like Ellie knows something I don't know.
Not taking any
It's
chances.
the type of the hot sauce that burns your skin. I don't know if you ever had that. Like when you've eaten hot sauce that's got on your face and it like burns your skin.
I'm very nervous right now.
It's a good amount. Yeah. Oh,
Brave.
wow. Mark just douses it on.
It's a test.
Okay, we're in. Arbitrum, we go all in.
All right, everyone, take a bite of your wing. It's dripping off.
It's still so much.
It's like the slow burn kind, because it's coming.
It's the aftertaste burn, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that bad. All right, let's go do more.
This one actually takes.
Okay, so
I just think no one wants to be the first one to drink the water.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
it was still burning, or
Yeah.
is
Still burning.
it simmering? Okay, so you guys
It's
are all
getting
just
progressively
being tough.
worse.
Wow, I'm impressed. No water, no milk.
I'm just going to point out that Diana had claimed that she was going to also be eating this, and she hasn't been, which seems totally unfair to me.
Hey, they didn't
Steven,
put
give
the
her one of
wings
the
in front of me,
crackers.
so
Come on.
I didn't ask
Give her one
questions.
of the crackers
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Here, by all means, here, I got you. There's a last yes. I don't know if you would want to start with that one. Let's give you a clean one. This actually is
Okay, I felt-
progressively getting worse in my throat.
It's definitely
getting
getting
worse.
worse.
Like there's a fire raging right now in the back of my throat. Woo! It comes like mine's like
I didn't
starting
get the
to-
warm-up round, so
I feel like also I'm swelling a little bit. Like
Every time I swallow, it gets a
Yeah.
little bit worse. All
yeah, it's kicking in.
right, who's gonna do the milk first?
Woo, that is hot. But I don't have a water, so we're just gonna go with this. Okay, so these next questions are gonna be individual questions, and if you've seen the Hot Ones YouTube show, you'll know that they do a lot of research on the person they're interviewing. So this is kind of that attempt. So I'll start with you, Stephen. In 2014, before Ethereum even launched, your co-founder, Ed Felton, was working with a group of undergrads at Princeton on a project that would eventually become Arbitrum. At what point did you personally get the spark that Arbitrum could be something big, something that goes beyond academia?
This is getting really bad, by the way. Great question. So yeah, I was actually in that class doing a different project on a Threshold ECDSA wallet MPC for like securing digital assets. But I was interested in the project just like as a bystander. As you talk, by the way, it gets worse. I'm going to make this brief. Anyway, Ed went off to the White House for the last 2 years of the Obama administration, and he was the he had a title. We don't need to say that now because I don't need to speak more. Anyway, he came back to Princeton in 2017, and that's when myself and Harry went to Ed's office and said, hey, we should build that. And the thing is, at that point, Ethereum did exist, and we thought we were starting to see like real like need for scale. It was like the CryptoKitties era, if you will, which, again, in retrospect, wasn't that bad, but like we started to really see the need. And in all my previous academic work, I was more like building on the periphery of blockchains, so securing digital assets and like analyzing via blockchain analysis tools. But I really wanted to get into building something, and this seemed like the thing we needed. So here I am, like 8 years after or 9 years after that meeting, and still building it and still making it better.
Awesome. How's everyone else feeling with the hot sauce? Pretty good?
I'm like literally actually sweating now.
Yeah, it's burning. It's burning.
Face
My tongue is
palms.
on fire. Okay, Mark, this one's for you. Unfortunately, when I was searching on the internet, it's hard to find any real dirt on you. So
Mark was our lawyer, actually, before. That's a true story.
That was going to be my answer to the question that I know is coming. So you just ruined
Sorry.
it.
I'm gonna take another bite.
it is related to you being a lawyer. So you've worked in law before jumping into Web3. Is there a case or client from your legal days that you think, wow, it does get worse when you talk, that you think about and wonder how it would have played out differently in today's blockchain environment?
I mean, the joke that he ruined was, I mean, it wasn't a joke. Like, I actually was his lawyer, well, Arbitrum's lawyer, back in the day. It was a very fun time. Sandeep was telling Stephen this the other day, that I tell Sandeep all the time, I'm like, the Arbitrum folks are actually really nice folks. I used to work with them. I like them a lot. So good peeps over here.
But no, I think I'm to be blamed for things like Compound and Uniswap tokens and airdrops and everything that looks like that. And I would say that those may or may not look very different had the regulatory landscape looked different at that time.
Fair, fair. Okay, Nick, this one's for you. So I think you played competitive squash at UVA. You did? Okay, great. Which is all about fast decision-making and agility. Squash requires not just speed, but also strategic thinking and reading your opponent. How do you apply that same mindset to the competitive landscape of stablecoins where you're up against established players like USDC and Tether?
Yeah, so I think we're approaching the world from a much more positive sum perspective. So, our two, the largest players in the space, don't really interact with anyone and have had a long history of not being good fiat coin partners to other people in one way or another, whether it's just like not interacting with businesses at all or having a single partner like Coinbase who you share the majority of the revenue to. And so for us, it was coming at this with a model that we think made sense across different businesses. So whether you're a payment company, a DApp, an exchange, you can join our economic network and make the majority of the income from the underlying stable on your platform. And in that way, you have unified liquidity and utility across all of crypto and all these applications, whether they're centralized or decentralized. And all that we're trying to do is just build liquidity, build compliance, tech, and further BD. And so we had the benefit of sort of looking at their mistakes and saying, okay, in an ideal world, what does this look like, right? Where you need to be compliant, right? You can't be just paying non-KYC people all the time. And so that's what we've built. And that's, I guess, how I applied it.
Awesome. Okay, this one's for you, Ellie. So I know that you're into gaming, often playing games such as Death Stranding or OSRS. Do you ever feel that what you're building at Espresso has parallels to gaming in terms of incentives, progression, and even making complex systems enjoyable for users?
I know. Okay, so I don't particularly have that thought, but if people are familiar with old school RuneScape, I do think it would make the best game on the blockchain because it has a very large economic aspect to it. I guess in comparison, I think that's the tricky thing about crypto is that, like in a video game, you can continually make progress and you see yourself making progress. In crypto, progress is very difficult and you end up going a step backwards, and you also don't have control of your own progress because you need buy-in from a lot of people in the ecosystem to make a certain change. So in that way, I think it's very different.
Okay, awesome. Well, we are going to wrap it up. No one's taking a drink from the water or
At our own peril.
or the milk. So I have one last question. So I'd really love it if you all took one more bite of that ghost pepper sauce.
Let's
If you still have some on your
I don't have any.
tray.
Right when I thought it was kind of starting to cool down just a little bit.
Same.
You guys good? No one's going for the water yet.
It's coming later, but good for now.
Okay, wow, impressed with this panel. This last question is really just your time to talk a little bit about your company or project. So what is something that you are excited about when it comes to your company or project and the areas within your ecosystem? Anything that you want to kind of talk about to tell the audience that's watching, online or here live in Bangkok? Now's your time to tell the world.
Okay, I'll go first. So Espresso is working on interoperability and composability specifically. And I think that what we're doing is we're designing this future where things are actually very composable. Like you can literally depend on the state of one rollup in the state transition function of another rollup. And this is a much stronger version of composability than, just a promise or an intent. Although each one has their place. But I think this is super, super exciting because it's such a challenging issue. Like having synchronous composability between L2s, let alone between the L2 and the L1, is like such a difficult problem. But honestly, it's so fun to work on.
That's awesome. I can tell you're excited about it. Nick,
Yeah, I would say recently, we passed some of the large established centralized fiat coins in terms of volume. So now we're now in the top 5 of centralized stable coins in terms of volume within 3 months of launch. But I think the thing I'm most excited about is that AUSD is going to be the ag stable. So
Whoa.
that is a formal announcement.
And,
Yeah.
and what does that mean?
It means that AUSD will be deploying to the ag layer and has been chosen to be the primary stablecoin on the ag layer. So all liquidity of the ag layer will get funneled to AUSD and will hopefully create some really good experiences for users and applications by having one single stable that drives the ag layer.
Crazy thing is, every chain that connects to the ag layer now has a stable coin, and an amazing stable coin that is reliable and yield bearing.
Yep, institutional grade and delivering the economic value back to the whole ecosystem. So it's great.
It's huge. Mark, do you have anything to add to that or anything
I'm
else
just
that
so
you're excited
excited
about?
by that. I don't have anything else to say other than I'm very excited by that.
That's fair. Awesome. Steven, what about you guys at Off-Chain and Arbitrum?
The thing I'm most excited about that we're doing currently, we recently shipped on mainnet something called Arbitrum Stylus, which gives smart contract developers a new set of tools that has the ability to write smart contracts in more traditional programming languages like Rust and C, alongside interoperable with the EVM. So I think it opens up a lot of new avenues, one for developers that know those languages, 2 for developers that want to access code and libraries written in those languages, but also developers that are just looking for higher throughput, lower cost options because it's a lot cheaper to write things in these languages. So that's what I'm super excited about. But obviously, Arbitrum ecosystem, is very, we're at the infrastructure layer, but we'd be nothing without great interop partners like Espresso and stablecoins. Looking forward to you guys coming to Arbitrum chains as well. And of course, always fantastic to work with the Polygon team.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have here on the Literally Hot Ones panel. All the panelists didn't even touch their water, their milk. They are champs. So let's give them a hand for our panelists. Okay.
Diana, that was great. Thank you so much for leading that one. Thank you, guys.